Welcome back to Greenpete's world. We've had quite a number of questions about the growing of Physalis. Now, it is mainly a luxury crop, but it's also a highly nutritious fruit. This greenhouse is mainly devoted to Physalis during the summer. During the spring we have lots of other things starting off in here. But there's a few that I picked in the last day or two, probably yesterday I picked that number, and this is how they look when they're actually still on the plant. Now, there's a way in which we grow Physalis and the way in which we water them is quite important. I give them a good soak once a week. I also keep the area at the ground underneath them clear, and that means that when these drop off, as they just drop off naturally and automatically, I can easily pick them up along the ground. That saves an awful lot of time going around picking them away. During the season when they're growing well, and particularly in the early part of the year, I feed them once a week. Probably once a fortnight. Sometimes I do miss the occasional bit here and there, as we all forget things at times. But they don't need an awful lot of feed and they don't need much attention. The main reason they're such an expensive luxury in top hotels and so on is because it takes time to pick them. There's an awful lot of man hours, if you like to call it that, which go into the growing of Physalis on a commercial scale, but on a do-it-yourself and self-sufficiency scale, they're a well worthwhile crop because they use the greenhouse well during the summer. We have another greenhouse for tomatoes and so on, but this one is principally the Physalis, but it has a huge advantage. This is the greenhouse which I use for potting on and mixing composts and so on, ready for potting and seed growing. And in the spring the Physalis is not there because it's a perennial crop. We cut the whole lot down at the end of the winter when they're all finished. These produce like this. As you can see, those little things there, like that. Within a few days those will change colour to that, and when they do that they will either be ready for picking or they will fall to the clear area underneath the plants.
So they have to be golden brown?
They have to be golden brown before they're fully ripe inside. When they're at the green stage they still haven't developed their sugars. Like most fruits, they actually don't become sweet until they're fully ripe, and that's the difference. That one there has fallen off a little bit prematurely, but that one there is ready to eat, and we'll probably have that for breakfast tomorrow morning.
So can I just ask, if they're not golden brown and they're green, are they poisonous then?
No, they're not poisonous. All you do is you take them down. If they fall off and they're still not fully ripe, you can just take them into the house, put them on a windowsill for 3 or 4 days and they'll be fine. The fruit itself, I will open it up for you. My wife loves doing this. That there is the fruit itself, as you can see. And now that I've got it to that stage, there's only one thing to do. Delicious. There are two main ways in which you can grow Physalis. It can be grown from seed and treated as an annual plant. It's one of those plants which, although the people are trying to sell you their seed, which is relatively expensive, it doesn't need to be treated as an annual. It can be an annual and it will grow and it will produce fruit in its first season. But remember that an awful lot of energy which is going into the growing of the plant to start with, is actually going into establishing roots. And any plant which is a perennial wants to have good strong roots before the first winter arrives. In warmer countries it's not an issue, but in cold countries like the UK it is a bit of an issue because it is frost tender. That's why I cut it all the way down. I grow it in this greenhouse, which is also my potting shed, and by cutting it down in the late autumn after it's all finished fruiting, it will keep perfectly well in the ground until the following year, but you need to protect it from any severe frosts. Okay, see you next time.